Hi guys, welcome to the channel, and today we are going to make this simple iPhone text bubble effect inside Davinci Resolve. So let's get into it. So if you see, I have to actually track this video inside Davinci Resolve, so I just spread it across my timeline. Then if you want to track any object, then you have to go to your Fusion page. So let's jump to the Fusion page, and I really want to track this mobile phone only for my tracking or tracking my text bubble inside this video. I just need to track this mobile phone alone. So what I do is I actually scrub through the video to find from where is my mobile actually being seen inside the video. If you see in the edit page, you can see the mobile appearing inside the screen at around 4 second to 5 second. It is actually steady inside the screen, and it is there inside the screen till the end of the video, which is in 16 seconds. So if you see in edit tab, the time is the reference of this video is actually in time code. So when you switch to Fusion tab, the one thing that you will see that is the reference is no longer time code, instead it's frame coded. So there is no time inside Fusion, so it actually represents which frame the cursor is actually in. So if you see, the phone actually comes in the frame at 1/12 second, or it actually comes at 100 second or so. So for a safe tracking, I'm just taking the tracker to be around 1/12 of the frame. Now I'm just adding the tracker node inside this whole node. So in order to add a tracker node, first thing you have to do is select this median node. Then by holding control, just press space. Then you can see the select tool, just type in track. Here I am actually using a symbol tracker instead of a planar tracker. So symbol tracker is actually used to track any planar object or 2D object inside your video, while planar tracker is actually used for 3D rendering and stuff. So here actually symbol tracker is more than enough to get our effect. So I'm just using symbol tracker, and the next thing that we have to do is to align our tracker to the what we need to track. So the thing that you have to see when you're using a simple tracker is that this tracker is actually running on a contrast basis. What I mean is, the tracker doesn't know what you are tracking, whether it's a phone or a hand. The tracker inside the UI or inside Resolve doesn't know what is happening. So what the UI is actually running on is depending on the contrast difference inside the screen. What I mean with contrast difference is like, so if you want to just put this video inside our color tab and just reduce our saturation to 0, you can see that there is a contrast difference between a white and blacks. So the tracker is actually tracking this contrast difference. So if I am just putting the tracker here, then it will only track this contrast difference, which is persistence across the whole video. Okay, so let's come back to the Fusion page, and if you want to zoom in, just press Ctrl and use your middle mouse button or just scroll button. Then you can zoom in and zoom out. And if you press and hold the right top button, you can actually move the cursor here and there. And if you want to enlarge or make the tracker small, you can hold and drag any other part of the rectangle. Then it will actually resize as you need. Now I'm actually tracking two things, that is, one is this thumb and second is this contrast difference of this phone. Actually, if you want, you could make this tracker a little bit smaller. So the advantage of making the tracker smaller is that your processing power and the time that you need to track the whole video will be reduced. So here I really want to track from frame 112 to the last frame. I don't want to track the whole video. So I'm just pressing this button which says track forward from the current time. If I press this button which is track forward, it will track from the 0th frame. I don't want that. So I am just tracking from time 112. So I press tracking and I'm just waiting for the whole track to happen. Now you see that here what happened is the track actually went out So to fix this, so as you saw that the track actually had an issue in between the video. So the issue was actually the contrast difference actually changed across the video. So the reason that the track actually went out is because the thumb is actually changing throughout the video. So in change, the contrast difference which we had put in reference in the first place is being changed. So if you see throughout the video, this index finger is actually constant throughout the video. So I'm just tracking this index finger as well as the phone, and the same thing track forward. This tracking would be much more smooth and constant because there is a constant contrast difference inside the video. Now tracking is actually complete. Now the next thing that you have to do is switch to the operation tabs and change the tracking operation to match move. So what match move actually does is actually move anything which is connected to this tracker move, like what the tracking information is there inside this tracker node. So now I'm adding a merge node here because we need to add the text bubble inside. Now I'm just putting the text bubble here. Now if you see, if I connect it to the foreground, you can see that foreground and background information by just pressing your control tab and connecting it. It will show you whether you are connecting to the foreground or you want to connect to the background. I'm just connecting to the foreground, and you can see that this text bubble, okay, we have to change the saturation backs. Okay, now you can see that the text bubble is not actually tracking the phone. So in order to make this text bubble track the phone, all you have to do is actually add a transform node below the text bubble, and then right click the sender and connect to and select tracker 1 and select unsteady position. So what we did here is actually move all the information that is inside the tracker to the new transform node. Transform node is much like position and scale in After Effects. It's just a node. In After Effects you don't have to add additional node to change position and scale. Here it does. In Resolve you have to add a transform node to change position and scale, so that is there. So we have actually tracked all the information to the new transform node. If you switch to the edit tab, you can actually see that text bubble is actually tracking the phone, and it's pretty good. Okay. Now the next thing that you have to add is the text. So I'm adding another merge node below the median or the text bubble. Now you can see there is 2 merge nodes, and I'm also adding one text node. You can either go and add a text node by clicking this text plus, or you can go for the traditional approach, that is holding control and space and writing text and clicking the text plus. Now I'm connecting this text node into the merge node and I'm putting it in the foreground, and I'm adding some text. Now the text is kind of really sized up. I need to reduce the size, and since our receive bubble is actually white, I am just changing the color of the text to be kind of gray. I'm just aligning the text bubble. It seems okay. Now if you want to add a little more realistic text, you can add a receive time as well as a name. In order to do that, you just have to add another merge node, add another text, and I'm just changing the color and size. Now you can see that the text node is actually tracking well and good, but the next thing that you have to see is that the whole time the text bubble is actually inside the frame. I really want only the text bubble to see when the phone is actually inside the screen. So just go to the Fusion tab and see when the phone is coming inside the frame or when you need the text bubble to come. Now here I am actually having a tracker information at 111, so I want the text bubble to pop up at 111th frame, so I'm adding another transform node below this transform node. It doesn't actually matter whether you add the transform node below or above the tracker node, which is this transform node. I'm just renaming this node so that you guys can see that this is not a actual transform node. This is the tracker node or the new tracker node that we have made by copying information from the tracker node to the transform node. So I'm just renaming it so that everything is easy to understand. Now I'm just moving this tracker node where I really want. I don't want it here, I want it this side. Okay, well and good, but I only want it to appear at 111 second. So what to do here is add a keyframe on size. In order to add any kind of keyframe, you have to just press this diamond button and wait till it turns red. And for realistic purpose, I'm just moving 4 frames to the left and adding another size node, and 2 frames to the right and adding a size node in between. Now at the last node here, or 4 frame node, or the last node here, I am actually putting this size as 0. Now you can see that the text actually comes in, pops up. So in order to get a more realistic feel, you just have to add another size in between the two size nodes. I'm actually making the text bubble a little bit bigger so that there is a bounce effect coming in. So I'm happy with 1.5 or 1.3 is more than enough, I guess. Now if you see that this is the spine curve tool. So in order to see only the transform node, you can actually click and check which transform node you are actually playing with. So I just need to make this bounce effect. Which is present here more smooth. So I am selecting the whole effect of scaling and pressing S. Now you can see that everything is actually having a smooth motion, that is ease in and ease out. Okay. Now if you see in the timeline, it is coming in. Okay. Now there is a typing going on. So if you want to add a typing animation inside, it's really simple. Add another merge node, same logic. Add a series merge node, and if you are really lazy, if you don't want to do this whole process again, just copy this whole thing and press Ctrl C and press somewhere not in the node graph and press Ctrl V. Now you have another whole node connected to the new merge node. In order to make this stack really clean, either you could group it by just pressing Ctrl G, or you could just go to or you could just select whole nodes and right click it and group. Now actually you have 2 messaging pop-up here, so I really want to replace this one pop-up with the writing animation, which is this one, or typing animation. So instead of this messaging received bubble, I am deleting that and putting the typing animation here. Now you can see that this is having a green screen issue. So if you just want to replace any green screen, you just have to add another delta keyer in front of this green screen layer and just pick the color of green. Then you will have a clean animation there. You don't need the text here anymore, so I'm just removing text and the unwanted merge nodes. You could also remove this merge node, it's actually pretty much useless. I need to track this thing below the received message, but it's kind of really huge in comparison to the received message, so I'm just scaling it down, and I just want to make it kind of similar in size with the receive node. So for realistic purpose, the receive notifications tail would be in the opposite direction of the send notification tail. So I'm just flipping the image and making that happen, and I'm just putting it on right around here. Now you can see that the whole thing actually comes at 111, because this transform node does have an information that at 111 frame the thing pops up. So I just want to clear that out. In order to clear that, just press this and remove every track of scale. Now it will be present wholly across the video. Now this actually is present across the whole video. You can see that this actually track node is not having the information of the tracker. So in order to relink that information, just do it again, do the process again and relink the information here. Now it will track the information. Now it's cool. Okay, now you just have to make the transform better. Okay, we had to do this again. So I just want to resize it to be the same size as the receive bubble. I want this typing animation to actually come when the lady is actually typing, so when the person is actually typing. So around here is good. So 247th frame I'm actually adding another node, and I'm skipping to 4 frames right side, and I'm just skipping 4 frames right and adding another size node, and 2 frames back and adding another size node. And on the first frame I'm just reducing it to size 0, so there is nothing there. So now if you can see that once she had read the message, and once her fingers are laying down, the typing comes in. And if you want to add the message that you have sent here, the same procedure again, add another merge node, add the receive bubble, or same procedure, copy the whole group, copy the group from here, paste the group here, connect it to the merge node. If you double click, you will get into the group. You don't need the receive bubble, instead you need the send bubble. So you are connecting the send bubble instead of the receive bubble, and there you go. Now you need to change the text. Now you can see meeting at 2 is, I'm just taking now it would be nice if there is a white text. So now you can actually see that you have actually done the basic effect inside Resolve. That is the popping up of messages, the typing animation, and the me message. Now if you want to make it more realistic, what you have to do is actually change the anchor positions here, so that anchor positions are actually the source point from where you are actually making the position movement and scale movement. Here actually instead of anchor position it is known as pivot, so just change the pivot value to this tail of every message, so that the scaling from 0 to 100 or 0 to 1 is actually done from this point as the source point, or any motion is actually done with this as the source point. It will make the animation more realistic. So we'll go here and also change here, this side and down. Okay, also we'll change here. Here there is a small issue when you're changing this one, it's kind of a little issue, but you have to reposition it. It doesn't matter because we have never done any keyframe inside position, so it's fairly nothing will change. You just have to see. Yes, now you have done all the things. Now if you see, this is much more pleasing and realistic when you look into it carefully. It's the small things that makes the big difference here. Now we had actually made the effect. It's kind of neat and simple. If you want to kick up a notch and if you want to make this animation really cool, you have to add one more spice to it. So in order to add that spice, you have to go to the Fusion tab and search for glow effect. So the thing that you have to see that is you have to add this glow effect, which is having GLO in bracket rather than the typical glow effect here. So if you add the glow effect to the node tree structure, you can see that glow effect is right now here. Now we have to add this glow effect on the last part before it comes to the merge node. So in order to link this glow effect inside this tree, just press shift and drop it there. Now you can see that as soon as I place this glow effect inside here, the text got invisible. So in order to make this text visible again, you have to just change some more settings inside this glow effect. So if you don't see this, you just have to press the inspector tab. You can see the settings of the selected nodes. Now you just go to the glow effect and change this clipping mode from frame to none, and change this apply mode from normal to merge under. Now you had actually done this. Now you can see that there is kind of a white glow effect that is happening. It's really cool. If you want to make it to your liking, you can change your blending mode or the glow size. It really depends on your liking. I am making the glow size kind of big, but okay, this is cool. This is perfect for me. So in order to copy this setting, I am just copying the glow node again and pasting it somewhere here and transferring it to here. So in this glow node, actually we had already changed the setting, so there will be no issue when you play the second typing animation. Yes, it's playing. So one more time I am actually pasting the glow effect and am linking this to the last text received bubble. So now our text is actually kind of really cool. So if you like this video, definitely press that like button. If you want to be updated on this kind of knowledge on Resolve tutorials and the basics of Resolve, then subscribe to the channel, and hope to see you on the next one.